Hello, everyone. So the U19 Worlds are over, and back here in Sweden, where I'm from, there's been a lot of discussion about the Swedish team that didn't maybe perform up to the standards that Swedish national teams have set. So they struggled with the results a little bit, and during the EFTs before the Worlds, and then also during the World Championships, where they lost to Finland in the semifinal, then lost the bronze game against Switzerland. So Sweden Finland has this big rivalry, and the head coach Jonathan Brolin had mentioned a couple of times that counterattacks mattered a lot. So I did an analysis where I compare Finland and Sweden in terms of how they counterattacked during that game, and also did the numbers, who deserved to win, how were the scoring chances, how were the scoring chances only on counterattacks. And I got this entire thing on my platform X Progress, but I also wanted to give you a little bit of a sneak peek so you know what to expect before you go into my to my platform. And you need a gold membership to be able to see the entire thing. And if you want to have a test period of a week where you can just sign up for a gold membership, try it for a week. If you don't like it, you can just cancel it before that week ends. And if you do like it, which I hope, you can just continue to subscribe, and I'll continue to push that kind of material to you. So all the links you need are in the description for this video, and here is a sneak peek on my analysis of Sweden-Finland from the U19 World Championships. Have a great day. Bye. Like I mentioned in the text, I just want to use this game as a platform for discussions about counterattacks, and also looking at the analytics of counterattacks a little bit. So this is not at all about criticizing players or anything like that. Okay, I mentioned in the text I have a lot of respect for all of them, great players. But let's look a little bit at how the teams approached the counterattack business in this game, and of course also what led to the pretty clear results in favor of Finland. So let's start with looking at balance and back check. So I think that's a huge part, of course, being how is the team that loses the ball actually set up. And of course, this goes hand in hand with your ambitions with ball. Like the more brave ambitions you have with ball, of course, the more you'll have to live with being in worse positions while back checking. So it goes hand in hand a little bit, of course. But talking about that, let's look at Sweden and the balance they had during zone entries and zone offense mostly. So they do this thing that I really like, but is so dependent on decision making, where they'll play a couple of passes, then one of the defenders will run up the court to be a fourth attacker, and then they leave this one player on the entire court, which I like to call a quarterback attack. So it of course, reminiscence a little bit of the American football thing with a quarterback just walking around in the pocket with time. And I think this can be a great thing, especially if this player is like very comfortable with running out of situations if needed, and has high pace. But in this case here, so the pass is played from here all the way over here, which is such a high risk. Like if this Finn would have decided not to run with the ball, which he does for some reason, but just step up one step, even though looking at it frame by frame here, he could have taken this ball and he would have been on a semi breakaway. Look at it in full speed. So of course already here, decision making in terms of how to play this QB thing, a little bit questionable. And then once they get down here, they don't really use the 4-on-3 thing. So in this case, this would be like the 4-on-3 that you'd want to use. But then they drop back with one player, and the two ones here are actually marked, and this guy's still hanging on to him, and there's an extra player here. So they don't really get anything out of the numerical advantage here. And when they lose the ball, of course they're unlucky here that he goes down. But also like the movement here keeps on going this way, even after, of course, this is a little bit harsh with the frame on frame, but I still kind of feel that you'd be able to understand here that you should go the other way around. And then Finland does a thing here that they did well in this game, which we'll look at in several different clips, but it doesn't have like its own headline. It's using this trailer to get the ball and then score this goal here. So of course this starts with a QB balance thing, which can be a really cool thing when executed properly, but in this game that was a problem. Here's another one where Sweden does another thing that, you know, I like, but it's about how you, of course, execute it. So there's a fourth guy joining the rush here, understanding that there's an open spot here, which is a cool decision, I think. It's just that, of course, when doing this, then you need this pass to connect, something like this, so you can run into the ball. Because if you play, of course, too close to this blade, then this is what's going to happen. And then it goes the other way around. And we see it's a almost 3-on-1, and they execute this so well, the Finns. Like this little short sideways pass, of course, does a lot for the expected goals of this situation, even though it's to a lefty, which makes it trickier from a execution standpoint. It's so well executed from the Finns. So I mean, if this ball would have bounced away, or if he would have had problem controlling it in the middle, maybe we wouldn't talk about this situation. So also a lot of credit to the Finns in terms of executing, but once again, like the Swedish balance in this case, in this game, came to bite them in the end here. And we also saw balance issues on counter press for Sweden. So here they have the ball, they do this thing that they did in the beginning of the game where they actually scored a goal, which I thought maybe we would have seen more of, but that's another story. And then they go for the counter press here when the Finns win the ball back, and look at the positioning of the three Swedes here. So the third guy coming in here, it's a little bit of a questionable decision to go down like this, because then once the Finns just beat this first wave of Swedes, anyhow they do it, they could play the ball like this, you know, they just get the ball past them, and it's of course a good scoring chance. And then the fourth Swede. So in a way I can understand this because the Finns are 4 here, but of course going in like this while having literally no chance of winning the ball then makes it a little bit tricky. So another one where balance was a questionable factor for the Swedes. So there's one thing why we saw the Finns with these high big scoring chance totals on counterattacks. Looking at the Finnish balance and ball pressure, so maybe they were a little bit less, like they had a little bit less ambitions in terms of creating these 4-on-3s or whatever in the offensive zone. But I thought a lot of time when they lost the ball, this was what happened. So they got a good back pressure from this player, and then they had like the balance. You see the Finns, so they can attack the next ball carrier, even do it with 2 players actually, and you know still being in sound positions. Here's another one where they lose the ball here, but then they get, like from this guy, for an example, just the coming back, pressuring this guy, they have pressure on this guy, they have pressure on this guy. So they're really good at like clogging the middle and keeping ball pressure while having balance with the ball, which made it tougher for Sweden, I think, in this game.